The people had animal masks, so it was kind of funny to see, like, the switch, but also felt a little uncanny valley too. You're just like,
It's
"Ooh,
like the dog from Invasion of the Body Snatchers where, like, he, like, fuses together with its
yes,
owner. It's
yes."
like that. Or, like, dog with human face, like, oh, there's also Freddy does that in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Has the dog face, human
Yep,
face dogs. Anyway,
yep.
welcome to Horror Movie Survival Guide, Disco Citizens, the podcast where gorehounds
And best friends, Terry Gamble,
and Julia Marchesi break down a different horror movie each week
exploring a multitude of genres, subgenres,
and subgenres,
classic and cult,
international,
and underground flicks alike, determining which films are the goriest
and offering up horror movie survival guide tips
to help you stay alive. Howdy there, disco citizens. Welcome to another fine, fabulous episode of Horror Movie Survival Guide. I'm Terry,
I'm
and
Julia. This week we're talking about 1971's The Mephisto Waltz. The tagline for this title of the episode is Death is Corny. Tagline for this movie is When was the last time you were afraid? Really afraid.
every
This is
day.
this is based on a novel by Fred Mustard Stewart and is the screenplay was by Ben Maddow, directed by Paul Wendkos, and
I just
has
like
a
that his name was
score.
Mustard. I'm sorry, I, like, wrote that down as, like, with a
I
little
know.
heart while I saw that. I was like, that's
If
adorable."
if Mustard was my last name, I would be sure to use it as well.
Yep,
And then Jerry Goldsmith did the score for it, so you got heavy hitters
some good
coming in.
stuff. Some good stuff. And we got the amazing credit sequence that feels like an old, like, James Bond kinda movie vibe, like,
Hmm.
with, like, flames of hell and, like, all kinds of goodness. I was like, "Oh, credits from hell. I like it. I like this. I like how this is starting."
Yeah, this is great because I didn't know anything about this movie. So going in completely blind, which is
Oh, good.
what we love,
Yeah.
to sim like, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Let's go down this wild ride together. How
I
did
just
you
saw it
how
on a list of, like, best of, like, you're like, "How did you program this?" I saw, like, best of, like, movies that have scenes or are set near New Year's and stuff like that, since we're still at the beginning of the year. I was looking through those, and I saw the cast, and I was like, "Alan Alda," and, like, this, like, kind of noiry kind of, like, I don't know, giallo looking
Mhm.
thing, like, let's go. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was delightfully surprised by his performance. He goes way
Mhm.
harder than I thought he could. So impressed. So we have a beginning of meeting our Alan Alda and Jacqueline Bisset, who are the main characters. And where did you first see Jacqueline Bisset?
I don't even know. Like, I feel like she's just always been in the lexicon as, like, one of the hottest ladies to ever be, like, captured on camera.
Hmm.
I don't know what the first thing I'm gonna look hold on, look at me. I'm gonna look up a
I
little. Mhm.
While you do, so mine was there. Have you seen Class from 1983?
I don't think so.
It's Andrew McCarthy and Rob Lowe and John Cusack and
What's all your
Francis
guys?
Fusco and Alan Ruck. Yeah, it's she's in that as well. That's
Oh my gosh,
I was like, Andrew
incredible.
McCarthy, I'm there.
Oh,
John
yeah,
Cusack, I'm there.
also there.
Yeah.
I I
That would
don't
be
know
a
what the
fun
first
move. That would
thing.
be a fun movie night pick. That'd be good.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we meet Duncan Eli, who is a
Oh,
older
Bullet.
gentleman. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um who is an expert piano player and is playing the Mephisto Waltz by Liszt. And when meets Alan Alda is a music journalist and he is
Mhm.
wanting to be interviewed by him, but they can't get over his hands. He has these perfect hands, like Rachmaninoff hands. He did say he studied
Yeah.
piano at Juilliard, so he's like, but he hasn't played for a long time, so he's okay, but he's not great because he doesn't practice. So
Well,
that
not
it's
just that he
very
doesn't practice, he confesses that he had that thing, which happens sometimes when you're an artist and you're young and you put yourself out there, but all the music critics came to his first recital and basically panned him and were
yeah.
like, "Dude, like, you're ahead of your skis a little, like, you're still green." And he was, because he was 20 years old, but he took that and just kind of did that thing where he was like, "Well, I guess I don't do that anymore," and left the art behind, but still obviously kept the appreciation as that's his job
Hmm.
writing about it for the rest of his life.
Yeah. So they end up doing a little piano duet. He talks him into it. Hey, just try it out, see how those hands work, that kind of stuff. But they do a lot of shots in this movie of Alan Alda playing, and obviously he's probably being dubbed, but it's also like he seems like he's really playing this piece. So like, did
No.
he? You don't think so?
No, he's not.
Ah, see, you are more trained eye than I.
Well, I played piano for 10 years, so I Yeah, it's he's
But there
fine.
what I mean is, like, you can tell he's playing this piece. How it sounds on his end, that doesn't matter, right? We're gonna get a dubbed version anyway, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of movies who characters who are like, "Oh, I'm a piano player," and they just never show their hands, right? It's like they cut and you don't see and he ends
Yeah.
they're at least showing you that.
They're showing a little bit. I can anyway, but yeah. If it's good enough for the masses, yes, I'm sure, but it's not I didn't think it was like, "Oh my god."
Okay.
Um, but, that at least that portion of it. What I did love is a lot of the shots in this movie just in general of, like, just, the sweepiness and the sumptuousness of the sets and, like,
Mhm.
everything that you're seeing around, like, their family home, the little animal doll their daughter has, like, their little Raggedy Ann, like, all these little things that they just, like, are already feeling uncanny valley as we get into the music, and their obsession with his hands.
Yes.
And
So, she's opening a shop, a new shop, and, the
yeah,
first
Paula.
day
Mhm.
Paula is the wife and, with her friend Maggie, but the first day they had, like, 1 sale. No, they were like, "Well, this didn't go very well," and right at the last minute, Eli and, like, his entire entourage descend upon the store and buy hundreds of dollars of merchandise, and she's like, "This isn't right." See, like,
They
to
drive
we
up with Rolls Royce with, like, a kind of like, "Oh, we're just doing you a solid." You can tell
yeah,
there's nothing's free, as they say, right? It's like, this is
yes.
not just a kind gesture. We're gonna want something in return. We're essentially it looks like they're buying her soul, right?
Well, I feel like she is quite cynical from the start, right? Because you could just be like, "Oh, these friends are new friends of my husband's. They have a lot of money. They're doing this really nice thing for me." But she's very suspicious from moment one, and she's
Yeah,
just
but
like,
their
"No,
energy is
this."
off because
Yeah.
the dad and I was like, I at first I couldn't tell what their relationship was because it felt like young wife with her old husband, but then you find out that that's her dad, but then you're like, their energy's still weird, and the way that she is eyeing, like, sexually like, she's kind of eye fucking her husband, like, do you know what I
Mhm.
mean, though? Like, when she's standing right next to her. So there
Yeah.
is that thing of, like, she's got money, she's got looks, and you're really close to her already, and you're also, like, wide-eyed and excited that they're fawning over you.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
Yeah.
you would also be like, "That's uncomfortable." Like, if someone brings a person like that and you would automatically not trust them,
Yeah.
or at least their intentions, because it seems like, "Oh, you're trying to buy me or at least buy, like, a swinging party or something." That's maybe what they seem like they want. And she seems
Sh
more conservative, even though she's like Paula, this character, Jacqueline Bisset's character is like kind of artsy and fun. She also still seems to have like a conservative streak about her too, like the way that they
Mhm.
negotiate love making, like the love, love, love. Like they have this very sweet kind of like banter between
Mhm.
her and her husband Miles. And like, so I feel like um the way that they negotiate and handle the world is much more feels nefarious to her.
Yeah, yeah. And Roxanne, who is played by Barbara Parkins, is one of the leads in Valley of the Dolls. So of course,
Hmm.
I know, and I've actually never. I think she's in Peyton Place, which I actually have never. I read the book, but I've never watched that series. I should watch that sometime.
Yeah.
So Eli's wife was murdered by a dog. So we know that going in. We go, okay, we do meet a dog named Robin, who is not a very nice puppy, but we do have a swinging New Year's Eve party with animal masks. Bitchin', need it. I need to go to
It's
that kind of
looking
party.
very eyes wide shut though, because it's like that kind of wealthy where I'm just like, "Oh no, this is very, uh,
Hmm.
sure, fun," but also you can tell if you're not someone who wants to be at this party and that's what you're looking at and you're disoriented and maybe had too much to drink or maybe too much pot or too much whatever else they're passing around, hors d'oeuvres
Hmm.
at this party, party favors, if you will. Paula's very disoriented and ready to go home. As soon as midnight happens, she's like, okay, we made it to the midnight. Can we leave?
Yeah,
I would like to leave now.
we've unmasked, and so she ends up wandering around upstairs, where she sees the wall in Eli's office, which is covered with life cast masks of people, including him and Roxanne. And that's where the dog Robin catches her, and she is. I would like to point out though, this party does feature a naked girl grooving, so that's all I ask for at any party, right? Like, just want to, because we've seen this in many movies we watch. Like, you know how it's a sick party, girl just dancing by herself.
Just
Just
randomly
want to,
dancing naked. Every one of these all these New Year's parties, I think that's been the trope for, like, a lot of bunch of movies we've covered recently, like,
yeah,
Torso had that, that girl at the party, and then, All My Friends Are Dead had that girl just dancing by herself at the party,
yeah.
kind of like just vibing. So I guess that's like a New Year's like thing. There's gonna be some girl who's just gonna be dancing by herself,
I guess that's gotta be
dancing
us.
on her own. Yes. So but it's also like the weirdness of like the mask that they had on the dog looked like a real human head that he had on his little mask, like while
Yeah.
all the people had animal masks. So it's kind of funny to see like the switch, but also felt a little uncanny valley too. You're just like,
It's
ooh,
like the dog from Invasion of the Body Snatchers where, like, he, like, fuses together with its
yes,
owner. It's
yes.
like that. Or like dog with human face, like, oh, there's also Freddy does that in Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Has the dog face, human
Yep,
face dogs. Anyway,
yep.
we find out that Roxanne has been married before to she was 15, he was 13, and then got married and divorced again. And then we see her making out with her dad, and everyone's just letting it go. And Paula's like, what,
Her midnight
what,
kisses with her
what?
dad, and it's like a full, like, not just a little
Do you have a
midnight
kiss
kiss.
for daddy?
Okay, Sloan. Um, so yeah, it's very that, and so that's why Paula also was like, "Get me the f out of this party." Like she's seen too many things that's why I'm saying it's very eyes wide shut. Where you're like,
Yeah.
there's some like rituals happening in this house. So she finds like the book that they have, and like there's also this weird glowing like bottle of blue, like oozy goozy stuff that like is
Mhm.
some sort of magic right stuff too that they're not sure about. And so Roxanne says like, after the next day, she wants to make a cast of Miles' head. And she's like, no, like, I wouldn't like that. But Miles is like, well, but it should be fun. And he like insists and he ends up, she's like, well, I can't control you. So he goes and visits with them and gets drunk with
I
them and
would
gets
be
his
very
head cast.
I would be very excited to get my head cast. I think that would be a very interesting experience. I am all for it.
I don't
Um,
think I would do it just for someone's personal collection on their wall, but I absolutely would if I need to
agreed.
do it for a role in a movie and they
Agreed.
need my face to make some masks and make some things and we're gonna do something. But
Yeah,
as at
agreed.
someone's home just for their personal collection, I feel like that's a little like I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I never thought about it that way, but I also had never thought about Alan Alda in his underwear, but we do get to see this movie and I was like, "Hey, all right, Alan Alda. Who knew?"
Hottie with the body. Oh, I knew.
Yeah. I never watched MASH. I always just like
Okay.
flipped on by, I was like, "Nope, not for
Oh,
me."
yeah, it's not for you. You don't like war things.
Nope.
So he's charming. There's a reason that show was on for 8,000 years, and there's a
Sure.
reason that he had the career he had, and like he's a charming motherfucker. So
And that's
that's
the thing is
why.
like all I have him in the periphery and I understand he's supposed to be like the quite like pleasant everyman, right? So you're like, okay, he's feeling that in right quite well at the beginning of this movie. He's going to be turning later
He
into
was very
something.
affable. Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm. So Eli, we find out, is actually dying. He has leukemia and he's had it for 8 months. He's been suffering. And then also um, they give him some of his blood. So Miles is like, have some of my blood. That's not weird or anything. Okay.
Well, I mean, I it's weird that they're doing it at the home, but I feel like maybe that's just something very rich people do because they have an actual looks like an actual nurse there. I
Yeah.
mean, people donate blood all the time if people are going through cancer or going through all kinds of stuff. Like um, for better or worse, many friends have gone through so many things over these last few years, and so sometimes we'll do a donation drive or something like that. Especially
Mhm.
if you're dealing with and you a transfusion. My mom needed a transfusion when she had cancer back in the day, so I understand the impetus to
Yeah.
want to donate too. Um, so he's like, "Well, if I'm a match, sure, I'll just donate. That'll be great." And so he decides to Miles is there donating blood. Um, but Roxanne, who gives him some hot bouillon to like replenish. She's like, "Oh, take a little nap. You might feel a little woozy. Here's this hot bouillon," which is like anytime this girl gives anybody a drink in this movie, you're like,
Yeah.
"Is she
Don't drink
poisoning
that.
them? Don't drink it." That's how you survive this one. I feel like I'm already gonna say it now. Don't
Yeah.
drink the things that someone hands you. Like pour your own drinks. And if someone is making a drink, stand there and watch them make the drink. Don't just take the
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a, in real life as well as in movie world, a good suggestion. So he naps indeed, and we're going to get a crazy camera angle nightmare where they're going to put the blue mark on his inner eye, which and then Roxanne's going to draw a pentagram on the floor in the blue goo, and gives Duncan
Blue
a drink.
juice, Julia.
Yeah,
That's what I
blue
wrote. It's blue
juice.
juice.
We don't get to talk about blue juice very much on this podcast, but we'll shout it out
But we
again if
have,
you
a few times in the last couple months. I'm so happy about it. Um,
we're the two-person campaign for this movie. Blue Juice is a very strange Cornish surfing movie starring Ewan McGregor and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Watch it if you haven't seen it; it's wild.
it is so
So
wild.
we got some blue juice here,
Yeah.
And so now they have switched. Now Duncan is
Yeah, so
dead.
that we have a switch body situation, so and, Roxanne goes, "Bye bye, Miles," and so as soon as, like, you get that she's played it placed it on him, his soul is now wherever his soul is, and so he's
Like,
gone
poor Miles, man, he gets transferred into the other body and just, like, dead immediately.
to a dead
Uh,
body, yeah.
yeah, rough.
So, it's pretty sad as after she does this whole ceremony, but, Miles tries to stand up and tries to get away, but he falls over and he's just all disoriented. But then he looks in the mirror and he wipes away the blue dot, and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, that's not him anymore." You can see that the transfer is complete. That is now
Mhm,
Duncan Eli living in Miles' body. But he spent a lot of time, and which the other reason that Paula was uncomfortable is he just they when anytime they interacted, he would just grill her and ask her all these questions about everything. Where are you from? What's you do? All these like just one of those things where like, "Hey, man, like, we can just hang out at this party, but you don't have to literally like, why are you so interested in my whole life? Why are you
mhm,
like cross-examining me is what it feels like." And so the reason he'd been doing that is so he could have all the details so that when he took over Miles' body, he would have all the details for their life. But he's missing a lot of things because and comes back changed. Some of the
mhm.
little isms that they have, like the love, love, love that they say before they make love and all kinds of stuff, he's missing. He doesn't have that. But he does come back hornier than Miles normally is,
Mhm.
and, he takes
And it
advantage of that right away.
and apparently does things way differently. So she's on a high alert immediately.
Mhm.
They have to go to Duncan's funeral, and Roxanne pours some of that blue goo onto the coffin at the funeral.
While she
When they
says some
read
mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. And while they read the will, Miles, who doesn't has only known this guy very short amount of time, gets the piano and all the musical
A
scores
Steinway piano.
and $100,000 cash. Roxanne gets the home, but so Paula is, of course, flabbergasted. Like, what? Why would you do this? This is like you barely know this guy, but it's all planned.
Oh, yeah.
I
So mhm.
I feel like it's this. They should have made a choice. Like they feel like they met Miles and they went in that direction because of his hands, right? Also, like he's hot and Roxanne's into him, but also they should have planned a little better because they know that she has a wife who is going to be troublesome, right? So like, why wouldn't you go with somebody who? Anyway, that's not this movie.
Well, that's why they tried, they tried, and they also understood the things that she liked, and they were like, "Well, as long as we do these things for her, it sounds like she'll be happy." And
Yeah,
so they already know that they can buy her with some sort of money because they already went into the shop and, seduced her with this part of the life. And he takes her, on the trip. Basically, they do like a second honeymoon. They know that they went to Mexico or whatever for their honeymoon. So they go back and do basically the same trip they did for their honeymoon again, but Miles doesn't seem to remember a lot of little details that he probably would have. And again, his demeanor is very different. Duncan is much more harsh, where Miles was much more sweet and, kind of fun and, like I said, affable. And so
and he
she
does
does try to
a
tell
great
him, "I
job
love
of
you."
changing his mannerisms and his voice and the all of it. It does a really
Oh
good job with
yeah.
that.
But I also love that when she asks like for the love, like, "Do you love me?" He's like, "Well, any fool can love. It's what comes next that counts." And then he just seduces her again. And it's just like, "Oh," and he just takes her. And so they have an amazing time. She's, over the moon because she's had probably the best sex of her life, it seems like. And then they come
Hmm.
home to Maggie's been taking care of Abby, their daughter. And Abby has got a dog with her when they get home. And Paula's
Yeah.
not too happy about this.
Nope, it is Robin, and she says, "Absolutely not, gone." So now she says he's Miles is now like 3 different men, and so Dad says she keeps the dog, so now they're like at odds with that, but that dog has been nothing but nasty to Paula, and she's like, he's waiting to get a bite of me, like, just so ready for it.
Yeah, he seems hungry for her. But when they get home, they meet up with Richard, this new guy that Roxanne is dating randomly at this Japanese restaurant. Of course, he's craving Japanese and says he likes Japanese food now. And she's like, that was not what you would
Yeah,
normally want either. Like Paula is very like astute, noticing like these are things that he would not normally like. But they, meet up and have a nice dinner. And Roxanne gives a key to the house to Miles during this dinner, which is like, But she also says, I'm about to go to town in Bermuda. You can just go there and use it to practice the piano because they can't get the piano into their house because they live like on the side of a cliff, like in like, Hollywood Hills, it looks like.
mhm.
And where the Eli's live in Beverly Hills, basically, in like this fancy, like huge spread. So We get some really beautiful, like, topography of Los Angeles, if you will. It looks like
Mhm.
the funeral looks like it took place at Forest Lawn. I feel like I know which hill it's on because I feel like I've seen the first headstone they go by. I'm like, I hang out there. I'm like such a weirdo. I hang out at that
Oh,
at that cemetery a lot.
it's a beautiful
Um,
cemetery.
it's gorgeous, but also we get, like, scenes of Malibu. We get a lot of LA, like, gorgeousness in this all across from east side to west side in this movie too. Um, but yeah, but they can't fit that piano down in their their house that's, like, literally built into the side of a mountain.
Paula ends up having a bad dream about Abby getting the mark on her forehead, and now she is marked for to be next, and she's part of the bargain. And he hears everything when Abby comes in crying about the nightmare. He pretends he's asleep, he doesn't get in, and said the dog had jumped out the window, but she finds that the blue mark is actually there. So they have to
Yeah, the
put her
dog
in the
runs away.
hospital because her fever's so high, she's having convulsions, and then she is dead.
Yeah, and the doctors, like, had been trying to figure out he never figured out exactly what it was that took her out, and so
Was the
now
doctor
Paula's
in on then or not? I was
he
always like,
seemed
"Is the
like he
doctor?"
was in on it. He seemed like he was one of
Okay,
the Satanists, right? Like, I
that's what I
thought,
thought.
just
Okay,
based on, like, how his, like, proximity to everything else that was kind of happening.
yeah.
Um And so, and she says, "Do dreams tell the truth?" is what she keeps asking because the dreams seem to tell the truth to her. And so, she seems to be having some sort of second sight. But of course, it's the era, and even to this day, probably you'd be like, she sounds hysterical,
Right.
about like what's happening. And so it's like obviously the loss of your child feels, multiplied in that. And so like her sounding crazy, she runs away, runs down a bunch of stairs, tries to get out of that hospital, get this beautiful disorienting kind of giallo kind of a stairway a
Mhm,
moment, where Duncan Miles, um, stops her and it's like, "What's wrong with you?" And like, she tries to tell him what she thought and what's happening, but to no avail. He's just like, like that, all kind of sounds crazy and basically gaslights her.
and we do get a library research montage in which we learned about, the dog that had killed Eli's wife. They hung it? They hanged the
They'd
dog? They
lynched the
thought the dog
dog. Yeah.
because there was something wrong with the dog. And so Paula ends up to going to see Roxanne's ex-husband because she thinks that Roxanne is responsible for the death of her daughter, and he's not very nice about it at first.
Yeah, William Delancey, and so he's the lawyer guy. She goes to his office and, she tries to tell him like, "I have this crazy theory. I know it sounds crazy. This is what I think happened." And he basically sends her out of the office. But then after some time contemplating, they end up running into each other at this concert that Miles has taken over for Duncan because now that he can play as good as him and
Mhm,
better than he's ever played before and plays a lot like Duncan, he plays a concert and everyone is mesmerized by him at this concert. All the ladies are like, "Oh, that's sexy motherfucker up there. He looks hot." And
mhm,
so it's like their whole world has changed now. And so William, bothers her and drops her his number and it's like, "Hey, call me. I want to talk to you now." So they meet up
mhm.
after this and, go on this wild ride on Malibu on PCH. I was just like, "Oh, I know that stretch of the highway," and end up
Mhm.
at his, like, Malibu house, and she ends up on a animal skin rug just in front of a fireplace. They have a kinda
Yeah.
moment where I was like, "Oh, she comes onto him like, hard," um, and because she knows that that's not her husband inside of there anymore, so she feels like she's already left alone, so she's kind of moved on a
Mhm.
little bit too, but he goes out to get more wood and never comes back from their rendezvous.
And they're clearly up in Topanga Canyon because there was part of the road that I was like, "Oh, I know where they are right there."
Uh-huh.
The big thing. So, yeah, it's fun to spot all the locations around here, but he does tell her there is no devil. But she says that the dreams tell the truth. They bargain with human bodies, and so God's not fashionable. They say we have to we have somebody. Gotta have somebody. God's not fashionable. So how about Satan? Why not?
Yeah, why not try Satan? So, she, might decide to do that as well too, but she, not out the police come and question once this guy's dead and all this kind of stuff too. She's like, "Well, my story might sound crazy." I'm like, "Try us, lady. We've heard it all." Kind of like grizzly cops. And she's like, "Well, what I think happened is this lady, is and made my husband be inhabited." And she tells them the whole thing, and they're just like, okay."
Yeah, no, they are not feeling that at all. I
No.
do like to say though they mentioned that they say once you've had one of them, nothing else will satisfy. You go, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, one of the crossover body people, yeah, so
Hmm.
there's something about, like, their access to whatever it's super hot and horny on the other side, so
Hey,
hook up
you
with a
know,
dead person, I guess? Necromancing? Okay.
all for it. So, Roxanne, we found out Roxanne disappeared the day Mrs. Eli was killed, and that she had a miscarriage in the snow, and that's why it said it was a monster, and that is why they broke up. And she said that Duncan Eli was the father of it, and so she wakes up the next morning, and Bill is dead. With blue stuff on his forehead, and he is like positioned as if he had fallen down the stairs and broken his neck or whatever. But that's clearly not what happened.
Nah, something else happened, and so, yeah, it's
I
looking
wish
real
they told us what this blue stuff was. We get so little. We don't get the name of it. We get this like what exactly it's for. What does it represent? Marked
well,
for next. I
it's
understand, but
for killing somebody, it's for putting the sight on them, and then it's almost like it reminds me of, like, the teacup, like, in, like, the freaking Get Out, like, the sunken place,
mm-hmm.
because it's like it feels like they're still there a little bit, but, like,
Yeah.
not anymore, like, they're, like, in a weird, in body, out of body experience, because we feel like we get a little bit more of that later on, um but yeah, so she, drives to Duncan's house, and after she suits Final Girls up a little bit, she's like gets a wrench and, like, rolls it up in a towel and is, like, gonna wreak some havoc over there. So she heads on over, Paula heads on over to his house and knocks out the, front, tail light, like, or headlight on his car, and sends the butler outside and ends up running into Roxanne, and it's like, she's gonna knock her
Give
out
her
too.
a nice whack a mole right on the top of the head. Send her down the stairs. I got to say though, as far as these movies go, I don't believe I've seen this ending before where it's like, okay, can't beat him, join him, fuck it, let's go. And like just goes hard. It's like, all right, I'm gonna be you now. You thought you could get the best of me? Surprise, sucker. I'm gonna get my own ritual. I'm gonna get my own devil acceptance, my own bargain. Fuck all y'all.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
she breaks into the house, like, gets some of the blue juice for herself and gets the book and, like, goes back to her mental institution, like, room and builds her own little pentagram circle and lights the candle and does the do and goes,
Uh-huh.
"Okay, I'm in. I shall take you all out." And so, her friend Maggie's trying to check in on her and, ends up she finds her body, in a
She's she's
bathtub
in
of blood.
Bathtub of Blood, and
And
she
she grabbed the
has
live masks that she needed
mhm.
that because that's part of the caveat is you put the live mask of the person, that you're going the body you're, going into on your face. So she has Roxanne's masks on her face. Um,
So Maggie does not know the implication, but we do. And now when they meet, Roxanne and Miles meet again, he notices her perfume has changed to Shalimar, which is what Paula wears. And they're
and
like,
she
oh,
smokes, which he hated. He also was
yeah.
like an anti-smoker and he didn't like smoking in the house. Yep.
And so they end up, last shots of them are kissing, and she is so happy because she got what she wanted. I mean, you had to sell
Ah.
your soul to Satan and like worship, your daughter is dead and your husband himself, his soul is who knows where. But she got her revenge. Good for her. Good for her.
Yeah, good for her. And then but also, like, the fact that she's just, like, I don't know. She got to live on. She gets to live on, and she could keep living on if she chooses her own adventure.
I
I
just
mean,
like I'm
eventually, he's gonna figure it out, though, right?
Yeah, but that's the kind of the fun of it, right? Like I feel like the boring Hollywood ending would be like he figures it out right there and she like
Yeah.
it's the realization, and this was like no, she's going to play this game for as long as she can play this game, and it's going to be great because when the reveal happens it's going to be delightful. So I think it was showed restraint with this ending.
Yeah. Dug it. I dig it the most, man.
Yeah, and we just
Mhm.
to survive, don't drink drinks that people give you, and if people seem like creepy Satanists then they probably are probably not
Yeah,
kidding
and if
about
you
it.
watch, like, the father-daughter make out like that, maybe,
Yeah, that's when the time to
that's a big
ouch.
red flag. When she was like, "I'm ready to leave this party," I was like, "That would
Yeah, be
I'd
like,
probably
"Oh,
be good
this
then
is
too." I'd be like, "Well, whatever else you guys got going on,
I'm
good
out of
luck. Good
5,000."
luck with that. Good luck with that."
So let's do some gore factor. 1 is
Yes.
not enough blood to fill a Dixie cup. 2 is a puddle of blood. 3 is enough blood to gross out the average viewer. 4 is a bathtub of blood, and 5 is running for the bar bag. There is literally a bathtub of blood, so I feel like
Yeah,
it has to be a number
it has
4.
to be that. Um, which I just thought was so fun. I was like, "Oh, Bathtub of Blood." I literally yelled it, of course, as it hopped on the screen. Chainsaws, 1 if you're desperate, 2 barely qualifies as a horror film, 3 seen worse, seen better, 4 not too shabby, 5 fantasticorical. This is a 5 for me. I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know it was gonna be so fun and smart, and the twists and turns and the characters just, like, the tension was right, like, each time you're like,
Right.
"Oh, it's about to be," then another turn would happen, and I wasn't like, I didn't know that it was gonna end how it was gonna end, like, at all, so,
Agreed. Yeah, this is a
yeah.
5 for me as well. I thought it was really cool. And like it's cool to see like we look at the Get Out and like the skeleton key and you're doing this, you're like, where does this body swapping thing, like how far back does it go? It's kind of fun to treat it backwards through time. And yeah, very smart, very sexy, and I thought everybody did a really good job. I think Alan Alda in particular, I was like, oh yeah, you're not the same person at all, my friend. Like that's what you have to be able to do to play this
Even
kind of
his
part.
posture was,
Yeah.
like, fully embodied a different person, so really, really well done.
And I love a downbeat ending. Is it a downbeat ending or an upbeat ending? I don't know. It's
It's a
downbeat.
little of both,
It's a little both, but I
because
feel like
everyone's
it's
technically
not
dead, right?
right. It's not. I don't feel like it's a Hollywood ending, and that's what makes me happy about it. And I actually would like to read the book now and see how different it is, because normally we know books usually go harder than the film. So I'd be interested to see how much harder it goes.
Let me know. That sounds, oh yeah, if you do check it out. Sweet. If you guys have read it, if you've checked out Mephisto Waltz, let us know. Have you seen this film yet? If you haven't, run, don't walk. It's such a good one. Highly recommend. You can also check out Julie on a couple other podcasts as well too. Ask us questions, comments, concerns on the internet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Oh my God, so many platforms. Just find
I
us
know.
if you're wherever you're not
So
watching
find
us.
us.
Go find us there. Definitely check out the YouTube though. I'd love to. You can see our cute little faces. We
Yeah.
try to get sexy just for you, just like you know
Although
Roxanne and
our
Paula, Jacqueline Bisset. Here
doing
we
it, doing
are.
those girls, those lovely, lovely ladies.
Yeah, we're doing those
Um,
girls.
and you could, yes, if you want to hear me talk about Stephen King, I am on the Loser Club. If you want to talk to me about Jodorowsky, I'm on Jodorowsky. You can hear me talk about those things. I adore doing this podcast with my bestie here, and it makes me happy when we find a cool movie, especially an older one, which is where my heart is, that I haven't seen. It's not spoiled
Oh
for
yeah,
me, and it turns out
and
to
the
be delightful.
aesthetic. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that party alone, Julia. I was like, oh, this is a Julia movie right here.
yeah,
Incredible, incredible work. Yes. Well, I hope you find yourself dancing in the middle of a party somewhere. All right? Yeah?
yeah,
All right.
definitely.
As you were, beautiful people. Have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye, Disco Citizens.
Thank you for listening. Horror Movie Survival Guide is independently produced by Terry Gamble, Julia Marchesi, and Sierra Ryan. Hey, that's me. If you would like to support the show, find us on patreon.com/horror movie survival guide.